Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Seeking Clear podcast. Today, you're going to be listening to, or if you're on YouTube, watching an interview with Tom R. Boyden from the YouTube channel Juji and Tom, which was formerly known as just Jujimufu. Tom Boyden is an exceptional person. He's really interesting. He's very talented. And I actually had the pleasure of meeting him earlier this year at the 2019 Arnold Classic in Columbus, Ohio. For a couple years, I had been messaging him on Instagram, talking with him, and begging him to come to the Arnold Classic. And eventually, he got to this year. So I got a picture with him. And after that, we spoke a few times. And I sent him an email a few months ago, and I said, hey, I'm starting a new podcast. Would you like to come get interviewed? And he jumped on the opportunity. So I'm so grateful for his time and his energy and attention, because he actually stuck around for about 90 minutes. And I asked him a lot about his personal life, his past. He told some stories about what he's been through, what he's done, his experiences. And we talked a little bit about his mindset and some of his routines, things of that nature. So there's some really interesting stuff in the interview. And if you're a fan of the channel, Juji and Tom, if you're a fan of Jujimufu, if you're familiar with Tom Boyden or any of Jujimufu's content at all, this interview will be interesting to you because Tom really is a huge part of the magic that used to just be behind the scenes. I mean, he was the video editor. He filmed everything. He organized all the get-togethers and reached out and did all the networking. But, I mean, since then, he has taken a much larger role on the channel. So if you watch the channel, you know who Tom is. And I'm just really excited to bring this to you guys because it was an absolute pleasure talking to him. I do want to let you guys know, though, that he was in Las Vegas, and there is a little bit of background noise. And the way that I was using Zoom to record this interview, it only recorded one audio file. So every time there's some background noise, I will occasionally get kind of cut off and my voice will get really quiet. I really, really apologize. I wish I could have fixed this, but again, this was my second interview, so the audio was a little bit distorted. But I don't believe he really gets cut off, so you should be able to hear everything he says. And that's really the important part. So I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. It was a ton of fun. And if you like this content, if you enjoyed what Tom had to say, please go check out his channel. I will put links for his Instagram and for the YouTube channel in the description, in the top pinned comment, in the show notes. And if you enjoy these interviews, if you enjoy the podcast, if you enjoy me, please subscribe to the channel. You can share this episode with your friends, share the channel with your friends. I greatly appreciate your support. I will continue doing everything I can to interview awesome people, bring you guys amazing content here on the Seeking Clear podcast. And remember, you can always go to andrewwuellner.com to learn more about me, what I do, see if you might be a good fit for my coaching program. And you can go to andrewwuellner.com/resources to learn more about ways that you can support the channel through affiliate promotions and offers. But that's it, you guys. I'm not going to hold you any longer. Please enjoy this interview with Tom Boyden. You're going to learn a lot of amazing things about what goes on inside his mind, where he's been in the past, how he got to where he is. It's a great story. So I hope you guys really enjoy. And thank you, Tom, for giving us your time. Hello and welcome to the show, everybody. Today's guest is someone super special and super talented. He joins us from his spot among YouTubers who have a golden play button. He has collaborated with world-class athletes and educators from all over the globe. He has a degree in horticulture and spent the first part of his professional life working on organic and urban farms, in restaurants, doing freelance videography, and he eventually moved to New York City. After slumming it there for about 6 months, he began to get paid for stop-motion music videos, web series, and short films as a director of photography. Making money here and there, doing filming and editing work, he knew that he needed to find something that he could use his skills for that would also bring him more passion and more fulfillment. And this is where we all remember him coming onto the scene. In 2016, he reached out to a friend that he had made in the tricking acrobatics community and ended up forming a partnership that would come to dominate an entire sector of YouTube, change the fitness industry as we know it by bringing authenticity, humor, and educational entertainment to people all over the internet. That friend he called up was John Call, also known as Jujimufu, and today I am pleased to be bringing onto the show the man who has helped grow that channel to over 1 million subscribers, the man who in a period of just a few years has grown his own empire, the co-founder of Grip Genie, editor, manager, and co-star of the YouTube channel Juji and Tom. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Tom Boyden. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Hey Andrew, that was a grand entrance. That was intense.
You
I don't
deserve
think
a
uh,
good entrance.
I don't think anyone's given me that nice of an intro since my mom would posted me on a podcast or something.
Well, that's the sad truth. I feel like so many people out there who do all the behind the scenes work, who like actually
Hmm.
make things happen. A lot of them never get recognized just because their face isn't always out there, and that's why I think you're so unique and so special, because you started out as kind of a behind the scenes person on Jujimufu's
Hmm.
channel, just doing the video editing, the filming. And then you started to like grow and become part of the Jujimufu brand. And now the channel is Juji and Tom, and you are like an integral part of the show because you do all the scheduling, the editing, and you're also a character in
Hmm.
the
Yeah,
entertainment.
yeah.
And I just love the role that you play. So, anyways, you're in Las Vegas right now, right?
I am. Yeah, yeah. Outside of a Starbucks.
So, where was the last place that you traveled with Juji, and what were you doing? Can you tell us what you've been working on recently?
The last place we traveled, we were. It was a kind of a combo, pretty quick between trips, but we went to Atlanta for the World Championship arm wrestling, their kind of main event of the season, and then that was pretty interesting. We've kind of partnered with them, and Devin Laird's a guest that we've had on multiple times. A
Yeah.
lot of people really love. We become just friends with him over the year, and that's great. He and his family are super cool. And then before that, we were in Las Vegas and LA, just mostly just doing stuff that we enjoyed. Like we trained at just gyms we like. There's a Las Vegas Circus Center that I've been telling him about. That's just it's like a paradise. The amount of money they've put into it, it just has everything: circus, fitness, trampolines, just gymnastics, anything you could hope for. So we went to that, and so it was kind of that combo trip. They were one after the other, and now we're kind of taking a big step back. Juju was getting really worn out from traveling. I can do it. I've traveled something something like 40, 48 flights in the last 100 days. So
You say 48?
yeah, it was like in Australia alone, it was something like 14 flights. So
Wow.
we're it's
Exhausted.
but yeah, but I'm quite good at it, and he is at this point is not. It's wearing on him, it's really
Yeah.
wearing on him. So we're taking a step back and kind of redoing how we are adjusting our schedule to other people's, and more so, stay in North Carolina. He just got a house. Juji was renting before. A lot of people thought he owned that house, but that was not. We never said that out loud.
Yeah.
We just never said he didn't own it. You know. But yeah, he got a house and we're gonna basically build up a gym.
Is
In
it a bigger space for the gym for it now?
it's it's gonna be pretty cool, man. I mean, I think
I'm excited.
he was in the traveling and wanting to stay home, and then wanting to build up the gym. He was kind of getting just excited about building up the gym, but not able to. And the house is going to really unlock a lot of things because the garage had just kind of reached its limit.
Yeah.
It couldn't expand much aside from knocking out walls or something. But that's the unfortunate nature of renting. You can't knock down walls.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that trip, and then we took a step back and realized we're gonna stay home a lot longer. And next year, I've already planned out all our travel for next year, and it's pretty cool. I over the 3 years we've traveled an absolute shit ton, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's gotten to the point where it's we'll do a project with someone, and if it's not our own control, our flight, our decisions, and our schedule, it always seems to get, I don't know, slammer jammered. It's just
Yeah.
it's just, it doesn't matter what organization, American Ninja Warrior, Cirque du Soleil, or Bleacher Report, or anyone who is based on their schedules. It's always just like what do we, you know, okay, we lost a day here and we lost 10 hours here, and I'm having to tell a producer we won't make a video if you don't let us film these things, and it's just like, what is going on? So we're kind of just going at, we've got enough of our own, I guess, I don't know, for lack of a better word, clout. We have this enough of that we can just kind of take a step back and do our own thing, and have our own budget and all that.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of learning over the last couple months of intense traveling.
I can only imagine. I mean, like, if you're doing an average of like one airplane flight every 2 days, I mean, that's nuts. But yeah, everyone's got to take time to just kind of go inward. And, you know, it's perfect because winter's approaching, and that's the time of year when everyone goes inside and focuses on themselves a little bit. So I hope you guys take some time to relax and strategize, because, I mean, the content you guys put out is great, and you guys have to stay fresh in order to keep doing that. So this is kind of a great segue. So you and Juji travel all over the place now, like literally all over the world, meeting all kinds of incredible athletes and teachers. And professionally speaking, you're a videographer, a documentarian, an interviewer, an entertainer, an athlete, and most of all, a student, because you're learning all these skills and things, and you're constantly learning new things. How do you balance all of these different roles and stay focused and attentive while still producing quality content? Because it's a lot to juggle.
Yeah, it's something I don't really think about, I guess. I've always been, I mean, it's obviously pivotal to have a solid diet, to have a sleep schedule that's on point, but mine's really not. It's kind of very erratic, but I've always been someone that can just, I can sleep anywhere, I can take a 20-minute nap anywhere, I can fall asleep instantly, and you know, John and I still share hotel rooms because we're cheap, and he'll always be like, "Damn, dude, you just instantly fall asleep." And I'm like, tired, man, and I've just adapted to that. But I don't know. I guess I think the biggest thing, there's a few things. There's like the self-education aspect. The ability to learn has come from just, I think, me. I'm really accustomed to failing. I'm awesome at just sucking and learning, and then I mean, both Juji and I started out doing tricking, which is the acrobatics and martial arts and gymnastics thing, and you film yourself falling on the ground for a couple of years before you actually start landing any flips, right? So, and I never had a coach or teacher, or never went to gymnastics class or anything. It was just like, here, I'm gonna figure this out on my own, and that was a physical skill. And then if you think about something like media and all the creative stuff that I do, I'm entirely self-taught in that. I never took any classes. I just used YouTube tutorials and just tried things and did free projects and film stuff. And so we've got physical self-teaching, and then we've got you know, creative or I guess knowledge-based self-teaching. And so I think those two things, it's like there's that kind of gave me a skill set to apply that to all the different things that we do every day. I mean, like starting Grip Cheney or doing apparel, and it's really just, the formula is the same as almost everything I've done, you know, like with tricking and with learning editing and learning how to grow a YouTube channel. Like once you break through on some of those, or the other things, you just got to apply the principles that you learned from that. I think I like to talk about it as if learning a language, I think, is a really good analogy for that type of stuff. People like get frustrated and they try to just pick up Spanish or French or Chinese, and then they just stop, and it's just a common thing in the US. And you know, I took up a formed language called Esperanto, which is it was supposed to be the English of Europe and China and Brazil and all these countries, and I think it was made up in 1920. And anyway, it's a language to learn how to learn languages, and I just think it's dumbed down, it's easy, it's like very much makes sense, right? Some language stuff, like the U.S. has so many things that just don't make any sense, you know.
English is a difficult language. But...
Right, and this one is all phonetic. Everything has building blocks, and it teaches you how to learn, and I think that's really pivotal. I applied that. I did that, and then applied that to language, and it kind of, you just have to think about it in that way, and I think again, I'm always down to try something and then fail at it. That's a distinct advantage I have in life, is that I've never been scared of just sucking really badly.
Yeah. So it sounds like early on you picked up a framework or maybe a mindset where you just realized that, like, if you keep trying something and you can just identify like the stepping stones, no matter how many times you fail, as long as you get good at those stepping stones, like, you will improve.
Right.
Not early on with tricking and language, and then you've just applied that to YouTube, and you've applied it to video editing and collaborating, and that's just how it works, right? Like, you just have to have a mindset that believes I can grow and I can learn, and we can see how powerful that is with your story.
Yeah, it's I never would say I was the most talented or the smartest at things, but I always kind of found a way to weasel in and figure out the cheat codes to something, you know, like, I'm not,
it's not always about talent. Like, sometimes it's just like,
right,
how good of a learner am I, and like, how determined. And like, that's
right. And also, I don't know, man, like, we are in the age of the internet. Like, I can't believe how many people just don't use it that effectively. Like, we're just it's not even fair compared to 4 years ago what we can do. Like, I don't know, all the stuff that I've learned and done has been through the internet and using it well, and from, like, you know, I played at a super before esports was a thing. I played was in a like highly ranked World of Warcraft guild, and then I played online poker and quit school for that, and just like all these things add up. And maybe it wasn't great that I was playing 18 hours a day of World of Warcraft, but I was, you know, still figuring out like how to get good at something, you know.
Well, with a game like World of Warcraft, I mean, I have friends who play high-level World of Warcraft, and the thing about games like that is, yeah, it's a video game, but the amount of learning that you have to do and the complexity of the mechanics. I mean, like, I could not sit down and just play World of Warcraft if I wanted, because I wouldn't know what to do. But like, you have to really finely tune your thought process to understand some of these things. Yeah. So what are some of the common themes that you've noticed among top-level athletes and performers, the people you collaborate with who are at the top of their field? Have you noticed any characteristics or personality traits or mindsets that seem to help these people be so successful and athletic?
I think, I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is just discipline. I think it's just, especially with strength and athletics and bodybuilding, all of these, I said it on a podcast with Barbend recently. He was asking me, like, what is harder, learning to do media or learning strength? And I was just like, dude, it's not about what's harder. Like, you can learn media in 3 months and be very good at it nowadays, but like, you can't get strong in 3 months. You have to be disciplined and committed to the long-term goal, and it's a long-term mindset. And I think that is I think that's a huge thing that I see in all these guys. It's not, you know, how fast am I going to get this strength goal, or, you know, this bodybuilding show that's coming out. No, it's like, here, this is going to take months, it's going to take years, and I'm going to have to clock in and get my, you know, time in all throughout. Like, John Hack, for example, he's a powerlifter, a friend of mine who is from the same hometown in Wisconsin as me, randomly, but he's the strongest, 82 kilo powerlifter in the world, and he just does everything the hard way. He high bar squats, he close grip benches, he conventionally deadlifts, and he's insane. He hit a 2,000 pound total, and he has this discipline. Like, sometimes he doesn't have the ideal training environment. You'll see in his Instagram, he's like, oh, I'm hungover, and I drank a bunch last night, or I partied, but he's still doing the heavy weights that he needs to do.
Yeah.
And maybe he didn't have the right, recovery methods or the right diet or whatever, but it's like he's still disciplined enough to just go in there day after day, and he's been doing that, since he's 15. So
yeah,
he hasn't stopped. He hasn't taken a break. He's deloaded, but it's like, holy shit, that's 11 years straight of doing this thing. It's not.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest trend. And Thor Bjornsson, he is also like that. I mean, he will take lighter times in training, but he's gonna consistently do this for year after year and do the things he needs to do that are right, and he's not going to take a day off when he's like, oh, I'm tired today, I'm gonna not do my strengths. Of course not. And then the other thing I would say is just I think what separates a lot of strength athletes and a lot of bodybuilders and a lot of acrobats, this is there's like pain threshold and kind of fear and level of intensity. I think it's just I have friends that don't do any of these things, and they just don't have that same type of mentality of just like, I need to get to this next level of intensity, and I need to get mentally right for this lift or this competition, or I need to have no fear of breaking my neck here, or all of these things. Those things add up to you have to have that kind of fierceness in you, and that's what I see in every single one of them. The only person I don't see it in as much is actually, to be honest, I think he's so cool, calm, and collected. It's like Magnus Mitbo. For some reason, I see the fierceness and intensity in him, but it's like, I don't know, man. It's some sort of different.
He has like a calmness in the storm kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Like he just has joy in his heart. Like you can kind of feel it. Whereas when you look at someone like Thor, he's friendly. He's a nice guy. I met him at the Arnold this year when I met you earlier. And like, you can tell when you talk to him that he's a human, but like there's something in there.
Right.
That's very primal.
Very different than all of us. Yeah. But actually, this reminds me of something. I've kind of made this connection between the difference of certain athletes.
Mm-hmm.
There's athletes that do this. This is the difference. There's two sets of athletes, of elite athletes that I know and I'm friends with. There's the ones that do this that are incredibly focused on competing and being the best in the world at that, in that competition, and showing everyone. That's the Thor Bjornsson, that's Larry Wheels, that's John Hack, that's
Brian Shaw, maybe.
Brian Shaw, yeah, 100%. But then I know these elite athletes like Magnus and Clarence Kennedy, who both did compete. Magnus was very good and still competed, but in the rock climbing competitions, he didn't really like them. He told me that Ninja Warriors, he's not that big of a fan of competing on it. And then Clarence, who is within 5 pounds, 2.5 kilos of the world record in the snatch, at his body weight, this is a world record. He's at the same caliber of Olympians. He competed under the Irish flag when he was 17 and up, and he just didn't do that well, and he didn't really like it, and it just wasn't for him. And but did he stop? No, he's still going super hard and competing with the highest level, but he's competing with himself.
Yeah.
Magnus is competing with himself, and they're both. It's not as if Thor is not competing with himself. He knows he is, but these two guys are elite athletes that just aren't necessarily motivated by the competition aspect of it and being the best in the world. They're just trying to consistently be better than what they've done. So it's different people. Yeah.
That's a fascinating distinction. I'm glad you brought that up, because now that you point that out, I do see that. And it's almost like some people are more focused on an external competitiveness, on the internal aspect. And they're both like, I can't say if one's better than the other, but it's interesting to look at it that way for sure. But Clarence,
in some sports you couldn't do it, like arm wrestling, for example. You can't, if you're just competing against yourself, no one's going to give a shit about you, right? But Clarence, in weightlifting, your poundage, people are going to take notice. And Magnus doing super high difficulty routes, it's up there. So, and doing one arm muscle ups, it's different for different sports.
Yeah. So here's a really good question that I've been dying to ask you. How, more so in the beginning of when you started working with Jujimufu, it's probably a little easier for you now, but in the beginning especially, how did you manage to reach out to these people and actually get their attention?
I think it was, I had experience at doing it because I ran a blog about urban and farming and organic agriculture, and was kind of got experience reaching out to people and to promote stuff. And I made a mini documentary on my bike trip, and I had to just message, news outlets and agriculture magazines and all these things. And I kind of got used to what people respond and who actually, like, what level. You kind of realize it's almost like a rating scale, I guess, of how much impact they have on the internet, what their follower base is, what you personally think they're going to, I guess, respond to. It's just kind of a feel-based thing. So yeah, I kind of figured that out before the YouTube stuff. So I basically started out as with people that either Juji and I knew of from the past, like Clarence Kennedy. He was one of our first big things in September of 2017, and he was on the same forum that we did tricking and acrobatics and stuff on, and he was popular on YouTube at the time. So it was the right fit, and we knew that he would be down with it. And then you just kind of building blocks from there. Like Eric Bugenhagen, when I first found him, he had maybe 12,000 subscribers. I don't even remember. It was like maybe 10. I don't know. It was pretty low. And it's possible. I felt it was possible to reach out to him, and I think YouTube commented on his stuff, and then move forward from there.
That was enough.
And then I just kind of, it's like a building block. So I didn't reach for the sky on the first attempt. I didn't say like, oh, I'm gonna go to the rock right now. A lot of people do that, and now that Juji and I have this channel, and I'm more known on Instagram and all these things. Like I get people reaching out about collaborating with us, and I'm always super confused because they don't bring any value. They just ask to work out and film a YouTube video with us, or somebody will come up in a fit expo and ask Juji to say words for a YouTube video. And it's just like, hey, it's like the scripted line that they made up. What in the hell are you doing, dude? Like, so weird.
You think an important part of reaching out to someone who's like higher up on the ladder, so to speak, is to bring some kind of value, right?
Right. And I mean, we have never, the only people that have come to the gym that we haven't paid for their flights are just the people that it was convenient for them that were nearby or something at the time, right? Or in Charlotte or nearby states. So we've always, value is like, here, I will tell them, like, I'm going to get your flights. You can stay here for free. We'll get you a hotel, pay for your food, all this stuff. And here's the ideas for videos. And here's the ideas for what we can do. And I always did that. Even like at the time, Bugenhagen, I'm reaching out to him and offering him all this stuff. And we have 100,000 subscribers, and he has 12,000. So it's like, still, I'm offering him a ton of value, and we essentially have the platform for him to get more exposure on, right? And Magnus, for example, like, I reached out to him when our first viral video went crazy, the rock climber grip strength video. That was our first million-view video and kind of catapulted the channel, and then I just rode the momentum after that.
Yeah.
But that video, I reached out to Magnus, I think 3 days after it went viral. So I knew what next step to take, but I offered him, he was at maybe 40,000 subscribers, I don't remember. But I offered him a ton of value, and he's the person that's gained the most value from working with us. Like he's worked with us 2 times, and his channel, or 3 times, and his channel has doubled the first 2 times, and then gained 150,000 the third time. His ad revenue went up to a level that he can make a living on it and go full time on YouTube.
That's amazing.
And I'm still paying. This is this trip, the 4th one, is when he's paying. It's not like he didn't offer to pay for his flights before, but this time he's paying for his flights. But the first 3 times I'm paying for his flights, and and he's getting this. He's one of the few that really understood like what's going on. But that's I think the main thing is I always offered people value, what videos we would do, and what our kind of style was, and then and now at this point we can just reach out to people and it's a little easier.
Yeah, that's kind of like something I always say on the podcast is like relationships are like investments. I mean, you should look at them 100% that way because that's not really healthy. Like you need to focus on the connection. But I mean, especially in business and social media, like a good relationship is an investment, and like there's stuff being traded. So I guess the takeaway is if you're going to reach out to someone, like make sure you're bringing something, especially if you're asking for something, right? So, so I've been subscribed to the channel since like, I think early 2015. My favorite episodes personally are with Bugenhagen, I think he's hilarious, and Brian Shaw, because I've met Brian too, and he is just so genuine. He's kind of like a giant teddy bear sometimes, and I just love the dynamic when he's with you guys. But I don't want to ask you if you have a favorite person, because that's not a question, but do you have a favorite episode or a favorite person to collaborate with, and why?
I would say, Magnus is definitely, I always say that Magnus is my favorite person to everyone. Everyone else is great. I love all the people we work with, but Magnus is just a good friend of mine now at this point. And and then we just always have a good time. He's always motivated to do his stuff as well as our stuff. And he's just we both get each other's humor. And and our videos always, they're never forced or anything, and it shows in why people watch them and why people like him, and he's just a genuine dude. But my favorite episode as of late was the rugby episode. I really loved that. I told Juji that we need to reach out to rugby and Australian football teams when we were there. It's a unique thing that we don't have pro teams in the U.S. I think there's some semi-pro rugby leagues, but
you need to hop over to New Zealand and do something with the All Blacks.
We want to. It would be really cool.
That'd be great exposure for them. I mean, like bringing rugby to the U.S., that could be huge for them. Huge amount of value.
I mean, the video that we did with the rugby got a couple million views, and it was just really fun and effective, and the team was really great. And they, they were the best organization we've worked with probably ever. They had everything set up. They had a bunch of drills they wanted to do, and yeah, it was like very, very just efficient and enjoyable. And I wish every time we reached out to an organization to do stuff, it was like them. So that was I really loved that video, all the combinations and getting tackled. Oh, I love that.
I'll have to go rewatch that one for sure.
Yeah. I get blasted. Yeah.
Oh, we got some sirens in the background.
Exactly. Yeah, it'll come by. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I'm trying to sit outside because I won't get that in North Carolina. So.
Are you on the strip right now?
No, I'm in Henderson.
Huh.
I don't know why it's going so crazy.
All right, so let's pivot a little bit and talk more about you and your past. So I'm super curious because I was scouring your Instagram. You sent me your Vimeo account, and I was looking through your footage, and it looks like you did a lot of cycling back in the day. And I kept seeing things about a tour across Europe. So tell us about your bike tour.
Yeah. Well, I was going. I was trying to get my master's in organic agriculture in the Netherlands at this university called Wageningen. It's an agriculture university, and I ended up about a semester into it, really did not like it. It was kind of like paying a shit ton of money, and I thought it was going to be a much different experience than the U.S., but it ended up just me being the one of two Americans in the 60-person program, and I ended up being paired with groups of like it'd be like four Chinese people, 2 Africans, 1 Dutch, and me, and I would just end up writing the entire research papers and editing everyone's English because it was all in English, and it was off most of these people's first time doing things in full English schools. So that was frustrating, and then and it was just like I thought it was going to be less research focused, and it wasn't. It was like they were training people to be consultants for organic agriculture. I'm like, this is not me. And so after about two semesters, I dropped out, and I still had a year on my student visa. So I said, all right, well, I might as well use this. And I didn't have much money saved up at the time, but
But you had
I don't know where
bicycle.
I don't know where I got the idea about bicycling. I think I had biked a lot before that in Wisconsin, just because it's a really easy. Madison's a really easy city to bike around, but I'd never done any long distance biking I'd never done a bike ride over 15 miles. And even, I don't know, 10 maybe, but regardless, I thought I could just get a bicycle and then bike around Europe, and I got a used bike. I got a used bike bags, and then 2 of them, and then just set off and slept in like, the first 10 nights I might have slept outside without a tent and without anything. I brought a sleeping bag, but that was it. And then just it was a little haphazard. I didn't really prepare that well for it. Made my way to the UK, and then realized that I should probably, get a few extra provisions and probably a tent. And that was a good idea before the UK, because it rained like 16 out of 19 days or something crazy when I was there. But yeah, it wasn't all thought through, and then and I was just also the getting acclimated to biking, like 60 to 100 kilometers a day, and that was the start.
Yeah.
Was pretty hard, and yeah, I didn't have any money, so I couch surfed. I was very, very, it was crazy. I think through the 3 months other than the initial cost of the bike and the bags, and I bought like a tent and sleeping bag. Other than that stuff, which that cost about like, I think it was like 1,200 euros total. And then through 3 months, I only spent 1,500 euros. So about 500 euros a month. And that was, and one of them, like I spent 300 once on a bike repair. So I was really lean. So I had a tent, and then I couch surfed in cities. So I think I got hosted like, I don't know, maybe something like 30 different hosts over 4 months. And yeah, so I just went all around Europe, and with the goal of filming it and interviewing farmers, and it was pretty wild. I don't know. It was, I mean, that's where I got good at planning.
Yeah.
Again, I this stuff with the YouTube is kind of like the second, third time, fourth time I've done it. You know, it's that whole Europe trip, I just reached out to farmers and organizations and just asked them, hey, can I come and interview you for a documentary? You know, I had no credentials or anything. And I forgot. I convinced an organic trading company from the Netherlands to give me 1,500 euros to sponsor me at the beginning of the trip, right? So that was kind of like the only way I was able to actually do it, because I maybe had like 1,500 euros to my name at the time. So yeah, I convinced them, did all that stuff, and I just had to make a video for them, and then I did all my own stuff on the side. So I just had a huge plan, and I basically mapped out the entire 4 months of travel beforehand, where I was going, where I would stop, who I was staying with, what crazy urban gardening places I was going to go, rooftop gardens and hydroponics facilities, and even like this town in the UK called Incredible Edible Todmorden, just things like that. I just had all mapped out, and then I just relied on like that. Todmorden, for example, like, I biked there, and I just like went up to the organizers of the event, and they're like, oh, you biked here from the Netherlands, and you're from the US, and that's okay. And they just ended up letting me stay at their house for a few days and feeding me. And so I just kind of relied on the kindness of strangers alongside of trying to give them value by promoting their stuff. And yeah, it was pretty wild. And then I also guerrilla gardened. So guerrilla gardening is just planting something in a urban space usually. So this guy, whose name is Masanobu Fukuoka, he's like a well-known Japanese philosopher farmer. He brought this guerrilla gardening concept up, and then a lot of people in the urban sprawl kind of took it up, and I loved it. So I just planted stuff in front of the Eiffel Tower and Buckingham Palace, and all Berlin Wall, and so that's kind of like, I filmed that, and those were the ideas around the whole thing. And yeah, it was eye-opening. I didn't have a map or a smartphone or GPS, so I also relied on just compass and road signs and asking people directions. So that was kind of that language component I talked about earlier. I'd listen on if I was biking to France or through France or through Austria, I would listen to the language, listen to the phrases that I needed, and then I would just start talking to people and asking them where to go. And so I learned a pretty like solid foundation for a lot of the Romance languages, and it was a lot of failures every single day, you know.
I hope our listeners are taking notes, because I'm seeing a trend here with you in the way that you hack goals. You just jump in and you learn, like, you jump up the cliff and you learn how to fly on the way down, and you're not afraid to sleep in the rain or go somewhere without a map. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
confronting your fear and just like knowing that you can do it, right?
Yeah. It's really just about, kind of, like I said, I'm just a master weasel, you know? You just kind of weasel your way into everything, right?
I think I remember an episode on the channel where you and Juji planted a garden. Was that your concept?
Oh no, he wanted to plant the garden. Yeah, he wanted to. I just helped him, and him and his dad, and yeah, I think a lot of I haven't been doing as much of the farming and gardening lately. I don't. Charlotte, I could have a community garden, but I'm traveling so much that it's difficult to keep that up. If I had some sort of partner in life or something that could probably help me keep up a garden when I'm not there, but it's not happening right now because I'm traveling so much. But yeah, Juji likes that stuff, and he likes fresh basil, and he eats that stuff. Even when it goes bolted and the basil's gone to seed and it tastes worse, he still eats it. You know?
But bodybuilders will eat anything, right?
Yeah.
So let's pivot again here, and as much as you're comfortable with, why don't you tell my audience about the darkest moment, the darkest period of your life? Tell us what happened in your life, what you're struggling with, and how you eventually overcame it.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of them. Both definitely involved like alcohol and drugs, and I'll go. The one that was kind of monumental for me was I was in. This is after, so for a timeline, this is after the bike travel, which was 2012ish, and then this was before I started like doing film work. During that time and up to this point, I had just been doing like part-time film stuff for free for the university or etc. And then I was dating this girl, super in love with her, and we were together for 2 years, and no, it was just kind of like falling apart. And she broke up with me, or I had to break up with myself because she wouldn't break up with me, and it was just like a mess, right? And my friend and I, we both had that happen at the same time. It was actually really hilarious because our girlfriends were roommates, and they both broke up with us at the same exact time. And he lived across the street from us. And I lived with her. So it was like quite traumatic. And yeah, him and I we worked at a restaurant, and I was a level 2 sommelier. I was selling wine, and we both just drank and did drugs for about like 6 months straight, and just played video games and just raged. And I think I broke like 6 headsets and 5 keyboards. I remember but the thing is, like, I don't remember any parts of it. It's just like all a complete blur. Because it would just be going to work at 3 p.m. and then starting getting blasted after it, and then drinking during the day on off days, or just everything. And the restaurant industry is obviously an intensely substance abuse.
Wrestling with
it's a dense area of substance abuse, and you can just kind of get in a cycle of that. And I was stuck in that cycle for a good 6 months. It was from I remember it was from October to about April, May, and that was 2013 to 2014. So I was just kind of like, it was a bad place I was in. And 2014, 2015. I don't remember. Regardless, I kind of like lost a lot of. I had a lot of part-time video stuff, and I just lost it all, or just just abandoned freelance projects or contracts, and just I was just a mess, you know.
Yeah.
And I kind of like I had to break out of the restaurant industry and quit the job, and then I just ended up moving to New York City, and
yeah,
with
the rest is history, right?
well, I was very lucky. This is the thing, is that it was like I stopped drinking and doing all this stuff in May of that year, and I actually got back into poker, and as like as a part-time income, like 30 hours, 40 hours a week playing online, along with doing the video stuff, and to try to build up my resume. But there was definitely, like, in Madison, there was only a certain amount I could get to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Video wise. And yeah, so I went to Las Vegas for 3 weeks, and I got backing as the arrangement in which someone pays for your tournament buy-ins, and then you split the profits 50-50. And I had a backer long before, in 2007, 2008, who was still around and living in Las Vegas. And I just said to him, "Hey man, I've been playing a lot and I'm good." And he's like, "All right, well, you still owe me money." So we decided to play again, and I ended up winning, or getting second in the tournament for 30 grand in when was that? July of 2016. And then I took that money and just invested into moving to New York City, and invested in a bit better camera gear, because you need a certain level in New York. And yeah, and then moved on from that dark place to where I am now.
Yeah. So it sounds like that was a moment in your life where, like, one thing happened and it was a catalyst. And after that happened, you realized that there were some doors you needed to close, and some new ones opened up, and things just, kept going, right?
Yeah, and getting out of, a lot of people don't need to get out of their hometown and away from people to get out of habits. But for me, I really needed to move away and kind of get in my own zone, and it worked.
Worked out.
Yeah.
So what do you think it is about Juji that makes you guys get well so long as friends and business partners? Because, like, it's clear to see that there's, like, a chemistry between you guys. You complement each other really well. So what do you think it is about the two of you that makes you, like, such a dynamic pair?
I would say in the entertainment aspect, it's because we just complement each other in terms of, like, I'm more dialogue-driven comedy, and he's more physical comedy. And then I'm more like, I'll research the guests and research questions and bring up things throughout the conversations and do the podcast, etc. And he's more like in the moment type thing, and that works out. And then with filming, it just I don't know, that chemistry just came from hours and hours of being around each other.
Yeah.
And then in terms of, like, we don't, we definitely had periods where usually it's like the 2-week mark of traveling together. We had a road trip where we, definitely had times where we were pissed at each other or whatnot. We yelled at each other. I've had to, like, get into his skull certain things that weren't as obvious as I thought, just because he's ingrained in the fitness industry. But that's the other thing, is that we complement each other, because he's an insider in the fitness industry, and I'm an outsider, and I could look at the industry from a different perspective than he could ever. I'll bring up things all the time that in the last few years and still daily that he's like wouldn't think of, because I'm just have never been that deep into it, And
I think that's one of your strengths too, because like, your channel is it's so different from other fitness channels. Like
Mhm.
other fitness channels. I don't want to be mean, and I'm not gonna name any names, but they're so boring. And like
Yeah.
your channel's so fresh, and I think it's mostly because of your unique perspective, and then the way it's melded with Juji, and it just,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's beautiful. It works.
Yeah. I mean, I noticed that. I mean, for me, if you look at YouTube, right, as a platform, and you look at the different types of creators. There's all different types. There's tutorials. You could say, like, let's just say makeup tutorials as an example.
Hmm.
Then there's video essay channels, like educational channels. That could be from Every Frame of Painting or Kurzagat or these, which are highly invested kind of mini documentaries. Then you have things like commentary videos, which are also investigative and a lot of effort. And then you have vloggers. So vloggers have to find some sort of thing to find interesting in every video. It can't just be here's my day, I'm going to Starbucks, and next thing I'm walking on the sidewalk, and oh, somebody walked in my path, darn, I'm angry, this is not good. Nobody's going to watch that. But you have to kind of figure out an event for each video.
Right.
And a vlogger that's not fitness has to figure out some event. Like Casey Neistat has to figure out some focus of the video, and even Logan or Jake Paul or these scumbags, they gotta they gotta figure out some shitty thing to do that video, and they still have to figure that out, right? But the thing with fitness guys, all they have to figure out is this video is framed around a workout or a meal, or it's just so stupid. And I was like, this is all that you have to do. This is very easy, comparative to all the other things. Like,
and only people who are into bodybuilding or physique are going to be watching those videos. And
right.
What you've done and why your content is so viral is like my wife. She doesn't lift weights. She doesn't power lift. She doesn't compete. Mm-hmm. She loves your channel. She's probably watched more of your videos than I have.
That's great. Yeah,
it's so entertaining. Like you don't even have to be into fitness to enjoy the content, but it exposes those people to fitness too. And they see how you guys are having, and you're laughing and you're enjoying it, and like the training is fun. And like that is appealing. And I think, I feel like I've been throwing praise at you this whole interview, but you probably positively impacted the health of probably tens of thousands of people who've watched your.
I hope so, yeah.
Wow, that looks like fun. Getting healthy. I mean, really think about that and back, because you're doing something that those other channels they aren't pulling it off. They're preaching to the choir.
Yeah, and I think we don't really take a step back and realize that, because it's hard to think about things like that we're actually impacting a lot of people, and it's a really cool thing. And those channels are all great. They're doing their own thing, and they are impacting people. But the difference, again, is that we took it from, here's a cameraman that is filming the workout of someone, and you get to be the outsider looking in, from here's me being involved in everything, and now you're the insider and you're hanging out with us while we do this stuff. So that's what we kind of changed for people with the style of that. I kind of took, like, I don't know, David Dobrik is a popular YouTuber who has like a very fun POV style. I took kind of his style, Casey Neistat, and then melded it with the how workout and fitness videos are, and that's what we got nowadays. It's pretty cool, but I always want to find ways to make it more interesting. We've done a lot of like we've done mockumentary stuff and more set videos that take a lot more effort from me to script and act in and edit, and those are ones that I actually am proud of. I really like those. The workout ones are great, and I put effort into those, obviously, but I like the ones where we kind of make a whole storyline.
I will never forget how caught off guard I was in the one video where Juji competed and he got the 666 PR, and it just
Oh
brought
yeah, yeah.
a sick video. I lost it when it just started playing. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah.
That was one of those things where it's me, like it's not someone else telling me that there needs to be a certain level of production or a certain level of quality in the videos. It's always myself. I'm like, oh man, this is an important video, and I gotta do it justice, and I gotta make something interesting about it, you know.
So how are we doing for time? We've been talking for about an hour, and I've got a few questions left. I just don't want to hold you if you have.
Yeah, it's good. I'm just chilling. Yeah, I'm just
All
gonna
right.
just did some Grip Genie stuff before this, and
Yeah,
all
well,
that.
that's perfect because the next question I have is about Grip Genie.
Hmm.
The branding for Grip Genie is perfect. Like the logo, everything, it's on point. It blends with the channel. It just feels like an extension of the channel. And I've actually, I think you know this. I've spent some pocket change
Oh, nice.
on Grip
Yeah,
Genie.
yeah,
And so I can confidently say that the equipment is great. I use that stuff all the time, the chalk especially.
yeah. Hmm.
What gave you the idea to start Grip Genie? Where did the inspiration come from? And how hard was it to launch a specialty e-commerce store?
I mean, to be honest, it was the demand from our audience and the success we saw with our grip strength videos that just kind of was unheralded. I would say it was just a wild thing. We just couldn't make sense of why our grip strength video is doing so well and why are people so interested in this. So yeah, we kind of we saw that, and then we had been we had not been working with the company, but we had been using their products, and they weren't especially nice to us, and they weren't really trying to help us out, even though we had promoted their products. And I mean, I can even say, like, I had a freaking I the first grip gauntlet we did, I had a title screen that included their logo. Just, you know, I'm not going to name the company, but there were a lot of things that were unfortunate. It came to the point where we were going to do a giveaway in September, and we asked them if they could send us some product for the giveaway, which we had asked a bunch of companies, Lead FTS, Jigsaw Massage, I can't think. Chimera Coffee was not a part of it at the time. I'm trying to think. A bunch of companies, but King's Coast Coffee was, and all these companies gave us free stuff so we could give away to our audience and promote them. You know, it was like here, we're going to promote you at the same time, and yeah, they were going to make us pay for it and pay for everything and pay for the shipping, and they kind of kept putting us around to different people, and we're like, you're the only company that's done this, and we've promoted you, and we bought your stuff before. We haven't even gotten anything from you. So it was honestly, like, I was just kind of pissed off, you know. That was the point where I was at, where, like, God, why are we relying on this company when
Yeah, I mean, if that's ridiculous if they don't see the value of influencers like you guys. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
opportunity.
yeah. So I just said, like, this is crazy. I'm gonna figure out how to source this. I'm gonna figure out how to make the company, and that's what I did. Yeah. So I figured Juji and I were in a car ride. It was the end of our tour. It was kind of like during this where we were talking about it. We need to do this grip strength company. We need to figure this out. And we were playing around with names, and I'm just good at figuring out how to name stuff, and I just thought of Game Genie, and then just Grip Genie. So we
Perfect.
combine that. And yeah, and it's just it's started from there, and then I just basically over September through December up to March. Yeah, basically September to March. I found manufacturers and gave them designs, and did prototypes, and built the website, and built the business, and found warehouse. And yeah, I did all the behind the scenes work and the groundwork for that, and now it's sailing. We got 7 employees,
Incredible.
and 7 employees, a couple full-time, a few full-time, and then we had some major problems with things inventory-wise, products being damaged, and now we've kind of rebounded from that. We had to repair a lot of products in-house for the last several months, and now now we have great manufacturers and everything moving solidly and ready for a holiday season. So
yeah,
it's been a crazy experience. Yeah.
Are you going to be running any like holiday promotional codes or any sales or anything like Black Friday?
I don't like discounting products because it just kind of lowers the value of things. But I'm probably going to do some like buy one get one free, or get chalk free with certain things, or those types of promos most likely. And we're going to be launching Amazon as well, so we're
there you go.
Yeah, we're figuring that out. Just
you gonna do FBA, like would they fulfill everything for you?
Yeah. So it'll be cool, but it's Black Friday is kind of interesting in the holidays. It's gonna be our first major one, so
yeah,
I want to go hard on it, but I also don't want to just discount things for the sake of discounting. That's a difficult thing to figure out, but pretty much everyone that I've talked to that's done huge Black Friday sales, like now that our customers are used to it, they expect it, and I wish I never did it. So I'm gonna kind of we'll see.
Cautiously, yeah. So for everyone listening and watching, if you want to check out Grip Genie, I'll make sure that the link is in the description or the top comment, wherever platform you're using. If you're looking for grip training stuff, they have lots of really fun implements, and I highly recommend it. But
thanks.
Let's move on here. I want to talk about the day when you hit your 425 deadlift, because it was actually like a few weeks away from the day when I hit my first 425 deadlift. So how has your fitness journey and your goals changed since you started working with Juji? Like, does he train you? Does he influence your goals? I'm sure he does, but tell us about your fitness goals.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Judy definitely doesn't train me. He's actually he's gotten a lot better at it, but he's not the best at explaining like body movements in person. He's really good at it, like once he can think about it and decide how to explain it, but in the moment he's not that great at it. So he's never really done that for me. I knew how to deadlift and squat, and I knew how to like the basic strength fundamentals and body weight stuff and tricking. I knew he helped me a lot with bodybuilding stuff. Just like, we'd be doing, I didn't start doing bodybuilding workouts till 2017, like late 2017 when I actually moved to North Carolina. And I'd never done an arm workout up to that point. I did them with him once or twice before that, but I'd never done that, and I didn't start consistently doing them until 2018 with him. And so that was kind of the influence, the more bodybuilding focused stuff. I'd never done that before that. And then, but strength goals and technique on deadlifts and such was always, I think he taught me to sumo. Yeah, but I never used it after that. But yeah, other than that, it's always been other people teach us, or we're just training together. So he motivates me just because I want to get better, and and do fitness better, but the actual movements were just learned by myself. And then yeah, I would say that strength was always something I wanted to do, but I focused on tricking and acrobatics instead.
Mm-hmm.
And because he always trained strength with tricking, but my style of tricking was very high impact, and he's kind of more of a ground based and lower height tricker. He doesn't do a lot of high flying, jumping intensity,
Mm-hmm.
and he was able to balance that with strength really well. But my style is very much high impact, and I was not really. I tried to do starting strength at the same time as tricking when I was around like 18, 19, and it just I realized quickly that it just vastly affected my tricking. So So I think that combo and just training together is motivating. We're good workout partners. Like the other day, for example, there's an Instagram clip of him doing a front squat or a safety bar squat with 530, I believe, for 3 reps. And that day, he got one Instagram clip, but we did a horrendous leg workout. It was great, but and I did like I don't know, what was it, 255 by 5 by 5 on like a front squat loaded safety bar squat at 165. So it was like really a lot of work, and we did glute ham superset with hamstring curls, and just he's trying to beat me in how many glute ham raises we can do, and I'm like, dude, you have no chance. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm gonna beat you. I was like, dude, I'm trying to tell you, man, you gotta not do this because you're gonna be really sore. And he tries it, he gets 12 glute ham raises. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna get double, and then I can stop really easily. And I just did like 24. I'm like, give me a weight, man. It's not fair. And so things like that. We just motivate each other, just kind of have fun with things, and a lot of things that people don't see lately that we work out outside of our videos, and those are some of the better sessions. So.
How did that leg workout compare to the one you guys did with John Meadows?
Yeah, this was easier, but I think the hamstring part was actually harder than the John Meadows. But the John Meadows quad oriented exercises were destructive.
That was an entertaining video.
If Juji had a hack squat and leg press, we would have been able to try those, but we had to settle for safety squat. This was actually the first part of the workout was strength oriented, so that was hard. All the reps were very hard for me. So it's kind of like that bodybuilding workout is you're just at a threshold of pain, and you have to continue doing it. Strength, you're struggling with a 5 rep max. You've got to just focus and keep the intensity. So it's a different thing. I'd rather do the John Meadows workout any day than do heavy safety squats.
So if you had one really quick tip for someone who maybe comes from a cycling background or has no experience with lifting, who wants to get strong, from your experience, what's your best tip?
That one's interesting. If you don't have any experience, though, I think it's just my one thing that I wish I would have done is been more consistent over the years with it. I think just peppering workouts in here and there. I kept doing body weight stuff. Like I did some rings and some pull-ups and stuff like that throughout the years, but I pretty much stopped. Didn't do compound lifts from basically age 19 to 20, 27, 28. So 27. So it was like 8 years of not doing them, and then when you don't do them, it just kind of sucks when you get back to them. I would just say you kind of keep it. It's like cycling. Getting good at cycling is way much more time invested than getting good at strength, in my opinion. Strength, there's a lot more invested outside of it in terms of diet and recovery, but like cycling, you got to spend like 6 to 8 hours a day if you really want to be a good long distance cycling person. So it's like, who has time for that? And strength, if you just spend 90 minutes 3-4 days a week, you're going to be in a really good spot for a long time. So any cyclists or endurance athletes or people that spend a lot of time at yoga, like if you want to get good at strength, it's not a huge investment, just got to be consistent.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got one more personal question for you, and then we'll wrap up with a few technical questions about YouTube.
Okay.
The last personal question I have for you is, you're always traveling, you're always working, you're running businesses. It has to be exhausting. And I know how tired I get sometimes just from being I don't travel, I don't do half the stuff you do. I can't imagine what kind of toll that takes on your mind and your body. So can you tell us, is there something that you do consistently in your life that keeps you feeling happy, healthy, energized, and focused? Is it like meditation? Is it a morning routine? Is it exercise? And like, what are the things that you use to ground yourself to stay focused?
Cocaine, 100%, a lot of coke. It's I would say it's hard to say anything specific. I've gone between meditating and I don't know, doing naps, and when I'm in a really solid routine of getting up at the same time and just doing hitting the ground running, not dicking around in the morning, and just starting to do work, because most of the stuff I do is a lot of creative things, and you can easily procrastinate, but there's never any right time for it. So I think I think one of the things that I've just gotten good at is, I don't know what a big difference between Juji and I is he is a writer, and he loves writing, and he's written multiple books. You should check them out. But we've come to the realization he can't write on the road while traveling, and he has to have very specific conditions to write well. And unfortunately, like if I couldn't edit on the road and edit wherever, the YouTube channel would not be alive, you know. So it's like I've had to just bite the bullet and, you know, wake up at 5 in the morning, and we have something going on at 9, and I have to edit for 3.5 hours, and then do that, or edit between things, or go to a coffee shop, or just really, if there's any time on an airplane or anything, to just get those things done. You have to use it, because there's never gonna be a right time to be creatively into it, I guess. So I don't really have any specific habits or things that I'm that good at. I think exercise is a very healthy thing for me. And I started running a lot lately, and that helped me kind of like get away from a computer screen and get outside. But in general, no, I'm just good at telling myself I have to do something and not procrastinate, because I've lived a stellar life of procrastinating. You know, I went through college doing it, so and I know the things that add up to what you're feeling when you want to.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's just your confidence in the fact that you're willing to just do what you have to do when you have to do it, right? And it's just kind of a mindset.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, YouTube is not making YouTube videos looks glamorous from the outside, and everyone just thinks you're taking a camera and then you just get to film stuff. But the amount of pre-production and pre-planning, and then all of the post-production and continuing to review analytics and understand things, it's like and like editing is not, it's a monotonous thing. I've listened to Juji's voice more than anyone. I'm probably topping his parents at this point, you know. It's
yeah, I bet.
It's so you know, it's not, it's like, I've listened to my own voice too. I don't want to listen to my voice all the time. It's a monotonous thing in any job. There's things happen like that, so you just got to move through those, regardless of what it is, you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move into a little bit of YouTube-oriented questions. We'll wrap things up and get you on your way. But the first thing I want to ask you is probably what a lot of my viewers are wondering, and that is, what is the future that you and Juji have for the channel? So you've been making some changes here and there this year, and I heard in one of your videos you mentioned, you said something like, when people ask you, like, if you're shooting 2 million or 10 million, you usually say something back like, no, I want to collab with The Rock. So, do you plan on trying to make that happen?
Yeah. I just kind of, I just kind of approach those things like they're going to happen eventually when we keep moving forward on working with certain guests and doing certain things, and not like a thing you force.
I just want to point out to our listeners how important that is. Tom treats those things as if he knows they're going to happen. That's so important. Like, it's just the belief. Like, this entire interview, that's all I've been hearing in your voice, in your stories. It's just like, you know that they're going to happen, regardless of the failure, regardless of what. So I just wanted to point that out. Please.
Yeah. It's a big thing. Like, a lot of the the people that are just, I would say that are pissed that they get to see me with their favorite strongman or their favorite, like, how could this guy hang out with Tom? And I'm like, I don't know, bro, because
I believed I could.
I believed it, and I made it happen, and I kept pushing forward. And then when I met them, I didn't just grovel at their knees. I just treated them like a regular person. So, so it's just like, that's eventually gonna happen. I'm just be like, oh, it's Arnold. This is sweet. You know, it's gonna be some level of starstruck, but it's like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, do you realize what you're saying? Because you have millions of followers now. And like the other week, I walked into the living room and I looked at my wife and I'm like, Anna, Tom Boyden's going to come on the podcast. So she was like, serious?
Yeah.
I'm like, you're kind of
great.
a celebrity to some people. So, I mean,
D-list, F-list, H-list, and it's cool. Like, I think the one, like, for me, for example, the other day, this is actually a funny story because it just happened yesterday. I'm at the poker table, and no one, all, like, when I'm playing poker, there's like very rarely that someone's like, oh, what's up, dude? And it's happened a few times, but it was actually funny because it was multiple people from outside the U.S. who came up to me in the summer when I was playing poker. It was like this Estonian guy and a Finnish guy that were like, oh, dude, I watched the channel. But at the table, I'm unknown. You know, I just look like some hipster bastard, and I'm sitting to the right of a poker celebrity. Her name's Maria Ho, and she has no idea who I am. I know who she is, but nobody at the table knows who I am. And you know, I do table banter regardless. And, you know, I'm bantering with people and just hanging out. But eventually I lose, or I get it all in versus her in I think a pretty standard spot. But it's ace queen versus ace king, so I have the worst hand, and I win all in pre-flop. And it's like, you know, she has 66% win, 33% for me, and it's like, or maybe like 72-28. I'll give it to myself. But regardless, I win, and you know, multiple people at the table are like, oh, so you're really confident getting that in? Oh, you're lucky, you know. Oh, good job. You know, they're all treating me because I beat the celebrity at the table. Like, I'm like, are you guys done goating me? What is going on? This is so weird. But I'm just like an unknown, you know, at them, and no one's gonna treat me any differently. And that kind of, like, that's the thing, is like, there's so many people with a bunch of followings on the internet nowadays. I never did it for that. And
would you prefer to stay kind of anonymous, like in public places?
Yeah, in public, I'd rather be where Juji gets talked to all the time, and and people are rude to him and weird and shitty all the time, and there's great people, but there's all kinds of weird people, and I mean, I love when I get to talk to people that are into the channel when I meet them. I was in Japan, I ran into like 5 people that were watched the channel. That was crazy. What is going on? But in the end, the Instagram, Juji and I both wouldn't post pictures of ourselves on Instagram if we didn't do it for business or for a living.
Yeah.
You know, I don't post on Facebook, or I never post on Instagram. It just wasn't what I wanted to do. So it's kind of a weird thing nowadays. Like you need a personal brand, and you need that. And I really love all the people that follow me, but I don't know why they do. And I'm a complete nobody, but we bring some sort of value to their lives, and that's cool. But I still don't understand it completely, and I probably wouldn't do it if I wasn't doing it as a job.
Yeah, that resonates. So, YouTube. It's safe to call you an expert on YouTube. What are your best tips you have for optimizing? Oh, come on. You're so humble, Tom, but like you just gotta like admit it at some point. What are your best tips for optimizing the channel?
People ask me this all the time. It's kind of a rough question because I tell them like, hey man, I made a spreadsheet of every single of like 40 fitness channels in 2016 and followed every single channel for months, updating their thing about how their subscribers grew, how many views per subscribers. I had a qualitative rating on how many subscribers they gained based on each video. Yeah, I spent hundreds of hours just like researching the analytics of fitness YouTubers, and nobody knows that. But I had a huge spreadsheet that I just did a ton of research and figured out why certain people were liked and why certain people just got views and why some got subscribers. So I just dove very deep into it, and the biggest thing that it doesn't matter, like if you can't make a good video, then if you make a ton of videos, you're eventually hopefully going to make a better video. It doesn't matter what quality of video you can make. It really doesn't. If you don't get anybody watching, you don't have a chance. And there's tons of people who make sick edits, and it doesn't matter because they have a terrible thumbnail and a terrible title, and it doesn't. No one's gonna give a shit about you, unfortunately. And so this day and age, like, you gotta understand thumbnails, and you gotta understand best titles, and the video content will come after that. It doesn't. Like, I made if you look back at the videos I made in 2017, early 2017, I was putting a lot of effort into every edit, all the things, but we're getting 15,000, 30,000 views a video. So what's the difference? It's not the quality. Like the quality of the video is going to keep getting better if you are human and you're learning. But if you don't know how to do the things that get clicks on YouTube and get people watching and get different eyes on it, then you just don't have a chance.
Yeah. So you think it's more about like capturing that attention? Like they say, you have like 5 seconds to pull someone in, and like the thumbnail and the title, that's what does it, in your opinion.
Yeah, I think so. And then, people don't realize it when they're watching their videos, but every 6 seconds, I make like a decision if this is boring or if this is fun. And it doesn't happen every video, but I essentially try to think in like 6 seconds, repeating things over the time of 25 minutes. Like, am I keeping this person in? Am I giving them a little music to go? Am I giving them a little dialogue to go with? Is it funny? Is it zoom? Is there an effect? Like everyone's attention span is pretty light. So I make that make those decisions every time during the editing process. Like, am I losing myself? Is this boring as shit? So there's those types of things that you just learn.
Yeah,
You got to
retention.
get used to. Yeah, but
Rate and retention.
yeah, I mean, we have I've made the videos. I found the sweet spot where people are going to keep watching, and we have a 13, 14-minute average view time, and that's insanely high compared to a lot of channels.
Yeah.
That's longer than some channels make videos. So
Yeah.
it's just I got to want to optimize titles and thumbnails, and I've learned how to keep people's attention throughout the videos, whether it's through the filming process or during the editing process. I always am looking for that like 6-second thing to keep them raring.
So how do you feel about the future of YouTube as a platform? Are you optimistic about it? Because there's been a lot of stuff going on with like demonetization and shadow banning on different platforms. How do you feel about YouTube and the
YouTube? I mean, there's so many things out of our control. That's why we started the Grip company and why we've started doing seminars and things. It's just like, I don't know. We don't know if we're gonna get demonetized for doing something, having strongman in the title one time, or bodybuilding, or who knows? Because I mean, we've gone through those phases, being demonetized for 4 months and having no money going towards the channel without revenue. So,
wow.
I don't know. It's I don't have any pessimistic views of YouTube, and I don't really have any optimistic views. So it's kind of neutral about it. Yeah, I just keep doing our stuff and focusing on that, and not relying entirely on the YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, Grip Genie is very much like that. That's kind of the thing that is powering forward. Without, I want it to be completely aside from the YouTube in terms of marketing and the way it keeps selling and growing. And like, we have a Grip Genie app that's coming out that I think is going to be very, very popular. I think it's going to be really, really cool. It's a high score app for high score app for powerlifting and weightlifting, anything, any lift. It's going to have basically it's pretty cool. I might as well talk about it if I'm already here, but think about it like, you've seen people post on their Instagram a screenshot of a spreadsheet of some powerlifting weight class. You know, they're like, oh, I'm 7th in this weight class. And it's just like, God, this looks terrible. It's just a spreadsheet. These people care about this so much. It sucks. They really want to rank themselves against other people. They can't rank themselves against Larry Wheels. They can rank themselves against normal people in their weight class and in their gender and in their lift. And I didn't see anything out there that was doing that. There's all these fitness apps that have training journals and such. So yeah, I went with an app developer, and it's really cool. You submit your video of, say, like a deadlift for 400 pounds. And then you have your weight class in there and your gender, and then you submit the video, and users can upvote or downvote based on if they approve the video and approve of the lift. And then if your lift gets, say, 5-10 upvotes, then you get thrown on the high scoreboard for your weight class, your region, or and in that lift. And it can be grip lifts, it can be closing the number 6 Grip Genie, it can be snatch, it can be anything. So we made it pretty cool. It's I'm really looking forward to seeing who gets on it.
What's the app going to be called?
It's just Grip Genie. I'm thinking about calling it something else, like Grip Genie High Scoreboard or Grip Genie, something like that. But at the moment, I'm just going to call it Grip Genie, just to get the brand as the focus, because if there's going to be no ad, no like in-app ads. We'll have like product stuff on it, obviously, but no in-app ads or anything. So it's just gonna be a free app to submit your high scores on weight. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
There's gonna be an interesting moderation aspect to it, but I wanted it to not be like you submit a lift and moderators decide to approve it for the high scoreboard, because that has a finite cap on someone's manual labor and eyes, right?
Yeah.
So if it's user generated like Reddit, then there's not a cap. You just have to moderate certain aspects of it if someone's trolling certain lists and just, you know, and brigading votes. But we'll deal with that when it comes.
Yeah, you can't predict all these things.
No.
All right, so we got 2 more questions for you, man. Second to last question. Tell my listeners what you want your impact on the world to be. So when you're dead and gone, all of the still living people who knew you, what do you want them to say about you and what you did here?
I want them to say I made a badass post-apocalyptic movie. That's my pretty much it. Yeah. Maybe I'll do some philanthropy, or I'm gonna do some farming in the long term. But in the end, I just want people to remember me for making a sick post-apocalyptic flick. Yeah.
Do you want to go back into film and make some productions later on?
Yeah, I mean that's I'm basically I want to make a kind of movie, like not the same as Mad Max obviously, but like a Mad Max post-apocalyptic style movie. I'm obsessed with that genre and media, and been wanting to make a movie about that for a long time, and have some scripts, and I would just include I have the whole plan for it already. I know it'll probably come in the next 3 years, but essentially it'll cast like Thor and Larry and Juji, and then I'll get actors that can actually do scripts well, to play the lead roles, and then just I'm gonna front the whole budget, but it's gonna be social media promotion is gonna garner the views, and then we'll see. But I want to do that in a few years, so that's what I'd like to be remembered by. Something a little more.
So many plans. It amazes me, like how much stuff is going on right now.
Yeah. There's a few things, but that's not a thing I'm actually working on now. You know, it's like all the stuff with the YouTube and making the connections is going to move forward on it, but it's not.
It's just on the shelf.
Actually. No, if I decided to drop everything and make a post-apocalyptic movie right now, it'd be just the most idiotic thing I could do.
All right, man. Well, the last question is for you. The floor is yours. Go ahead and tell the people where they can find you, where they can follow you, how they can join your audience. Tell them about your products, your projects, anything that you want the listeners to hear about. Lay it out.
Sweet. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Tom Boyden, Twitter. You can go to the YouTube, and we're bringing back the OK podcast in the next few months because we're going to be at home. And just check out Grip Genie. We got some wild stuff coming from that, but other than that, it was just nice coming to your podcast. You had some really, really interesting questions and fun stuff. You pretty much comprehensively told my life story. So
the goal. I want people to see what's going on behind Tom, because I mean the amount of stuff that you're doing right now, it just doesn't make sense to someone who doesn't know you and what you've done. So it's really cool that you're able to share that with all of us, and really appreciate you for making time to come and talk to me for an hour and 40 minutes. So thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
All right. That was Tom Boyden, everybody. I will make sure that I post links to his Instagram, his YouTube, and Grip Genie in the description and the comments. You'll be able to find him there. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Seeking Clear podcast. I truly hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this podcast and you want more of it, you can watch it on the YouTube channel over at Andrew Wuellner, and you can also listen to it on the major podcasting platforms, anywhere podcasts are found. You can support the channel by subscribing to the YouTube channel, downloading it, sharing it, showing it to your friends. All of that is greatly appreciated. I love the support. It shows me that you guys are getting something from this podcast, and I will continue to do it as long as that is the case. But if subscribing or sharing doesn't feel like enough for you and you want to do more to support the channel, you can go to my website, andrewwuellner.com, and check out what I do, what I offer, see if you might be a good fit for one of my coaching programs or my courses. And you can also go to andrewwuellner.com/resources to see all of my special offers. On this page, I have links that will take you to some of my favorite products and services that I personally use, that I personally love, and I would highly recommend you guys use in your lives to help you improve your quality of life or your quality of business. For example, if you are an entrepreneur or a business owner who sells a service or a product online, you need to be using sales funnels. And if you're using sales funnels, you need to be using ClickFunnels, because ClickFunnels allows you to build the largest number of high quality funnels. You can build websites, membership sites, webinars, VSLs, opt-in pages. All of it's possible, and it integrates with all of your favorite technology, your payment processors, your autoresponders, Zapier, everything. The customer service is second to none, and ClickFunnels has a perfect track record of being an amazing software. In fact, my entire website, andrewwuellner.com, is built on ClickFunnels. So if you want to see what it can do, just look around my website. I've used just about every integration that's possible. But if you go to andrewwuellner.com/resources, you will see a link for a free 14-day trial of ClickFunnels. If you join using my link, it supports me, it supports the channel, and I will also support you by sending you free to download my very best templates from my own marketing campaigns, including webinar funnels, homepage funnels, and opt-in lead generation funnels. I will also give you a free 5 to 10 minute video audit of your website and funnels when they're done. This is normally something I only do with my one-to-one paying clients. But if you use my affiliate link, you build some funnels, you build your website, all you have to do is email me, send me the link. I will see that you are one of my affiliates, and I will check out your branding, your copywriting. I'll look at your funnel, I'll look at your website, and I will film a video and send it back to you and let you know exactly what I think, what you can improve, what I love. And I will do everything I can to support you and your online business, because you guys are supporting me and I appreciate you that much. So please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for sharing, for watching this podcast. Go to andrewwuellner.com/resources to see more ways that you can help support me and improve your own life. And I will see you guys in the next episode of the Seeking Clear podcast. Take care.